Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. Thanks for stopping by and checking out another video today. So this kind of is the day I have been dreaming of since last October when I decided to build the greenhouse. And that is filming plant in the greenhouse, like planting stuff, growing stuff from inside the greenhouse. So I still have a few things that I have to kind of do around here. Got to get the gutter system in and some other odds and ends stuff, but really for the most part the greenhouse is done. And I have started bringing all of the my 4-inch pots in here to start planting, and so that's what we're going to do today. Now I am kind of nervous about planting this year because in the past I started all my seeds in like these little mini portable greenhouses in the dining room, and I was just planting for our beds in the garden, basically just for us. And so I had a clear plan of how many of each variety that I wanted, for whether it's peppers or tomatoes or whatever. But this year I'm hoping to sell plants, as well as since we're expanding the garden out, if all goes well, we still have a long way to go to get there, but if we get to that point, I am hoping to grow a lot more produce to sell produce at the farmer's market. So instead of just being food for us, I'm trying to figure out the best things to grow that will sell at the farmer's market. And I have seeds I bought this year. Now granted, everything in here I will not be planting today because a lot of it is stuff for that I will direct seed around Mother's Day. But I've got right now in here I've got 315 pots. So I need to figure out what I think will sell and what kind of plants that people are going to buy. As well as stuff that I need to grow a larger amount than I normally would grow if I was just growing for us. Like normally I plant like 12 or 14 tomato plants, 12 or 14 pepper plants, a few eggplants, but now I got to think about like how many do I need to grow to take a truckload over to the farmer's market. And I got all kinds of stuff in here and I have not sorted through all of it yet. Like, for example, I've got all different colors of zinnias that I will be planting, but I don't think I will be starting those in here. I might start a few, but I think I'm going to need as much room as possible because really 315 plants is not that many, especially if you're planning on selling seedlings and stuff on top of growing your own. I mean, this is my first foray into this, so starting off small and we'll go from there. But I did pull out some of the ones that I wanted to start working with and start growing. So I've got all different kinds of tomatoes. We got orange peach. This was one that Baker Creek sent me for free with my order, white tomasol. I don't think I'll probably do much of that. I might try one or two plants, but that's not a tomato variety that I'm familiar with. And I'm thinking that probably a white tomato might not really sell as a seedling around here too much. I mean, we'll see. This is one that I plan on growing probably quite a few of, the mortgage lifter. I've grown these in the past. I think almost all the ones, with the exception of maybe one variety or two, are indeterminate. So they get quite large. Basically, indeterminate plants will continue to grow until frost hits them. So indeterminate tomatoes can get 7, 8, 9, 10 feet tall, and continue to put off tomatoes, throughout the season. And I had very good success with these. They're a great canning tomato. They are a great slicing tomato. They're very similar, I would say, to like a beefsteak for a slicer. So I want to grow quite a bit of those. These I've always heard good things about. The Dr. Weechie, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I've seen a lot of different people grow these, and the tomatoes, I think they range about 1 or more pounds each. So they're a big tomato, yellow tomato, which might not be as popular for people buying tomatoes. These are the kind of things that I need to figure out. Mortgage lifter, let's see, what else we got in here? I got a bunch of the same thing. Another one, I know that cherry tomatoes are popular. We normally grow, 1 or 2 cherry tomato plants. You don't normally need for, just a couple people or even a small family, you don't need more than probably 2 cherry tomato plants because they continue to produce. They are also indeterminate, so they will continue to grow high. You want some trellising for them. I also want to do the Chadwick, which is a larger cherry tomato, and do some of those. And then I'm going to do some Roma tomatoes, which is a great sauce tomato. I had about 3 years ago, we grew, I think, 32 Roma tomato plants because we were starting them inside, and Mitzi has a really hard time with thinning plants. She doesn't like to get rid of any plants, so she wanted to transplant them all. So we kept 32 of them and had them out here, and we had an insane amount of Roma tomatoes. Plus we gave away a bunch of the seedlings to coworkers. So, we'll see. But I know that Roma tomatoes are normally pretty popular. They're great for a lot of things. And this particular variety of Roma does not say, but the ones that I grew, which was a different variety than this is Martino's Roma. The ones I grew in the past were a determinate variety. So they only, maybe get about 3.5 feet tall. And they put off a specific number of blossoms and have, that's all you get. They don't continue producing like an indeterminate variety does. So I will have to look up some more details on this, but generally Romas, in my experience, are a determinate. I also got this heirloom variety of the Cherokee Purple because I think that, again, this is a good, I've grown these before. These are a good slicer tomato, and also good canning. And I think this type of heirloom might do better than, like, say, a yellow or a white variety. This is just what I'm guessing anyway. So that's it for my tomato varieties. I do have some Berkeley tie-dye left over from the last couple years, and I will probably grow some of those as well. That is one of my personal favorites. I've been growing them for about 3 years now, and man, they are just a really delicious tomato. So I will include some of those. Then I love growing peppers. I don't even eat that many peppers, although I've been finding more ways to use them, dry them, ferment them and stuff over the past couple years. I just love pepper plants. I think that they're just really pretty plants. They kind of stay kind of uniform. And then you can grow all different color type peppers, and different varieties of heats and sweets and all that. And I just think it's kind of cool to, I don't know. They're one of my favorite plants to grow, even though I don't eat probably as many as I grow. But this year, because in the past I've grown so many hot peppers, I still have dried hot peppers and hot pepper powder and all fermented hot peppers and pickled hot peppers that I got more than I know what to do with. So this year I wanted to kind of focus more on new varieties that I may not have grown in the past, or varieties that are just sweet peppers. So like the Anaheim is one. California Wonder is another one, which is basically very similar. It's basically your standard green pepper, your green bell pepper. And then the longer you leave them on the vine, just like many peppers, they will turn colors. I mean, even your standard bell pepper will turn from like green to like an orange to like a red the longer you leave it on there. For the hot peppers this year, I am still going to do Craig's jalapeno, grande jalapeno pepper. Grown these in the past. They've been very prolific. And I know a lot of people like jalapenos, so I wanted to include some of those both for seedlings and for produce. That was really the only hot pepper that I'm going with this year. And while I don't have it in here either, I will probably grow some poblanos just because I love poblano peppers. So I have some of those seeds inside. So new ones that I'm trying this year is the fish pepper. From my understanding, these are very popular in a lot of restaurant cooking and dishes. And so I kind of wanted to see what happens with that. And so I bought some of those. And then, let's see, I think the last one that I got is the shishito, which is a, I think it's Japanese variety. Yeah, Japanese variety pepper that I think is more on the mild side. And they use it a lot like in making like tempura and stuff like that. And I'm dropping stuff everywhere. So that's it for peppers and tomatoes. And then the one other thing that I am going to start today is some eggplant. I've got Antigua eggplant, which I've grown before. It's done really well. It's a very pretty eggplant. Instead of doing like your standard, just like the big, was it the Black Beauty eggplant, I guess? I can't remember the exact name of it, but the general eggplant that you see in the store, instead of doing that one, I decided to go with these this year. And it's very similar, and I think that they kind of are a more medium to small size though. They don't get as big. And then I'm also going to try the Syrian stuffing eggplants, which that's one variety that I have not grown before. So we're going to try some of those as well. And then I want to add some herbs in here as well. I'm going to start my Thai sweet basil. I have all kinds of other weird herbs too. I bought stuff like horehound. I got a couple different kinds of cilantro, like slow bolt cilantro, and also dwarf lemon cilantro. And then I have like marjoram, and I don't know what else is in there. I still have to kind of sort through all this stuff. So that is on the thing today, on the plan today. But I just need to figure out how many I want to plant of each variety, and I need to work through that. Some I have a basic idea, other ones I'm kind of iffy on, so we're going to see what's going to happen there. Yeah. So, okay, so the last thing is that, I don't know if you can see behind me here. It's on the camera. So, like over here. So, as you see behind me here, I have my different trays set up. I am using these 4-inch pots, and these are filled with the organic soil mix, basically your general garden soil mix. I'm not using a seedling mix because seedling mix doesn't really have enough nutrients in it to keep the plants going. It's enough to kind of get them germinated, but then you have to transplant them. Whereas your general garden soil mix has everything they need to germinate as well as keep them going, hopefully long enough that you can then just transplant into the garden. I have to up pot them to something bigger with different kind of soil and all that, fertilizer and all that kind of stuff. General organic garden soil mix is my recommendation, and that's what I've been using for years. Each one of these trays that I have hold 15 4-inch pots, and I have 21 trays set up right now. And the one issue that I have is that these trays have holes in the bottom, So I did order some more flat trays that they can sit into to hold, that do not have holes, so they can hold the water in. Now, I mean, I'm in the greenhouse. I know it's going to get messy, dirty, wet, whatever. You know, I mean, that's kind of standard. But for right now, I don't want to just be watering and have all the water drain through onto my new tables that I built and just kind of make a mess in here. So until my new trays come in, I am going to take all this stuff out of the greenhouse, water it, let it drain, bring it back in, and plant. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and then we'll start planting. All right. Okay, so I got all the stuff, or all the flats watered and brought back in. I will be glad when I get the other trays so that I don't have to schlep all these things out of here and carry them back in every time I want to water. So that, and also, you know, just because when you have the trays underneath, anything that drains through, it will hold the water under there and then draw it back up as it needs it. When you're planting seeds, you know, you want your soil to be damp, moist. I know a lot of people don't like the word moist, but you don't want it saturated. So all this stuff, I, you know, did a light spraying down just to make it damp enough. Now today, which we're having a really weird weather day, it's actually kind of great for sitting out here in the greenhouse. It's cloudy, it's cool outside. It's only like in the low 50s, although it said it was supposed to be in the 60s today, but it's not. Every other day prior to this week, it was in the mid 70s, and so in the greenhouse it was almost unbearable. It was like, I don't know, I didn't have my thermometer set up, but it felt like it was about 90 or 100 degrees in here. Even when I turn on the exhaust fans and stuff, which helps a little bit. But today is a good day to be sitting out here, but it is a little cool. But tomorrow it's supposed to be back up into the 70s again, so I expect it to warm up. One thing I wanted to check on these is I got this compost thermometer, but this will also work for checking the temperature of your soil. And let's see what this says here. Well, it hasn't really moved. Oh, there we go. Now it's starting. I guess it took a minute to accustom itself to the soil. But right now my soil temperature is about 62 degrees. So I'm okay with that. And one thing I'll have to watch in here with the, especially as the greenhouse starts heating up, is making sure that I keep enough moisture on my plants as they grow, because, you know, it's going to heat up and I expect it to dry. I have a ceiling fan that can also dry, you know, the soil quicker. So the other thing I'm excited about is that I got my plant markers, several different colors, you know, to make things look a little, add a little spark to them, make them look a little bit fabulous. I bought these last year, and they come in a pack of like 500. And I definitely didn't use anything close to that last year. But I couldn't find them anywhere. Looked high and low, and I'm not the most organized person, so God only knows where I put them, thinking that, oh yeah, I'll remember where that was. So I went and I ordered more off of Amazon, another pack off of Amazon. I think it's like 17 bucks or something for like 500 of them on Amazon. So I just went ahead and ordered another pack and figured I'll find the other ones later. It's not like I'm not going to use them. So everything else that I had ordered today for the greenhouse came like 3 hours ago, except for my markers. And I'm like, oh no. So like I went and got a roll of painter's tape because I figured I could just like kind of write on the painter's tape and mark what I'm putting in each flat. So just now our Amazon van pulled in, and I don't know what determines when they ship it through UPS, you know, the US mail, or Amazon, the Amazon delivery vans, but you know, most delivery vehicles are, when they pull in, you know, they have that high beeping noise when they back up out of your driveway or back into your driveway. It's like that dee dee dee, you know, right? No, not the Amazon vans. They sound like somebody's killing a duck. It's like mack, 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 mack. I don't know what the deal is with that, and I don't know if you have the same thing in your neighborhood, but we always know when Amazon's here. Okay, so I also have got all of my stuff organized, so I know what I'm putting in each flat and how many I'm doing of each. In addition to tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, I am also, let's see, I'm also planting 2 flats of cucumbers and 1 flat of Thai sweet basil and one flat of lime basil, however you pronounce it in your neck of the woods. Thai sweet, yeah, the other one is lime basil. So we'll see how all this goes. So one last thing too is that normally I would have planted everything a week ago, but because I didn't have the tables built yet in the greenhouse and the electricians were still in here finishing setting up all the exhaust fans and electricity and all that, I am running a week behind. I think I'm still okay, because really for us here in Zone 6B, Mother's Day is the planting date, which is a month out from now. And when I've planted, I'm thinking back to last year, when I planted my tomatoes, eggplant, and peppers, they were all really big by Mother's Day. And I planted around the 1st or 2nd of April. So here we are at the 9th of April. Like I said, I'm a week behind, but my plants were good size last year. So I'm hoping in the heat of the greenhouse that I will get quick germination and stuff will grow. Now granted, I know generally my tomatoes are going to germinate much quicker than my peppers and my eggplant, and then the basil. Generally, I've always just got plant starts for basil, so this will be a first of starting seeds, and I don't know how quickly they germinate or what, so we'll see how all this goes. So, for planting the seeds, I just use a chopstick, and I'm just going to punch some like little holes in here, and I'm probably going to start off with 2 or 3 seeds per pot. And then with the tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, I will thin those out, depending on what looks like to be the strongest plant, and have 1 plant per pot. With the basil, I'll probably plant maybe 4 to 6 seeds, and I will leave those in there and just sell it as like a little group. And the cucumber, I'll probably put 2 to 3 seeds in, and I will probably leave like maybe a couple of them in there together, depending on how they grow. So I'm gonna get to planting, and cross fingers that this all works great out here in the greenhouse, since this is the first year that I am not starting seeds indoors. I am starting it in the new greenhouse. So let's hope all the stuff works out. Okay, so it was dark by the time I finished last night, and I wasn't able to finish up the video, so I'm finishing it up here today. But I did get all the seeds in last night and got everything tagged, and now we're good to go. This is all the initial seeds: peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers, and basil is what I've started right now. And there's multiple varieties of everything except for the cucumbers, which I just did all early fortune cucumber, which is kind of just your basic cucumber. So now we'll see how it goes. Like I mentioned earlier, I am starting a week later than I would have preferred, but you know, we still got, for our zone 6B here in Western Maryland, generally we would plant around Mother's Day or Mother's Day weekend. So, you know, we're still a month out from that. And last year we got a late snow, and I had planted everything right about Mother's Day, and then had to go dig up a bunch of plants and bring them back inside for a week. So, you know, it just all depends on what happens with the weather. So I do plan on probably planting some more stuff. I'm waiting for my other trays to come in that don't have the holes in them, because I want to maybe just do some flats of like some greens or something, and I'll have to probably set those on the floor because I filled up all the tables. For planting depth in these 4-inch pots, I basically just go down about a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. And one thing there at the beginning, I said, you know, I was using that chopstick to make my little holes, but that actually ended up being a little bit more tedious than necessary, and I ended up just using my finger and just kind of making a little spot out to put the seeds in. And in all the pots I put 2 to 3 seeds. A couple times I dropped extras, and so some of them have 4, but you know, you're going to have to thin seeds out once you plant and get the stronger ones. Either to cut them out and get rid of them, or you know, you can transplant them and get even more plants depending on, you know, how many you want to grow. And so I'll see what's going on once everything starts coming up. The one exception would be the basil seeds. The basil, those seeds are so tiny that I just kind of took little pinches, and so those will, if they all sprout, will definitely need some thinning, because those were kind of thick in those pots. But everything else, 2 to 3 seeds. So anyway, that's it for first really garden video of 2021, getting all the seeds started here in the greenhouse. And there'll be plenty more to come, because there's a lot of direct sowing that I do, generally with like squash and beans, and all of my root vegetables, all that kind of stuff, I direct sow in the ground. So I won't be doing that for another month, which is good, because I, in the next month, have to try to get this chicken coop and chicken run taken down and build a new one, and then build a whole bunch more raised beds to plant everything else in. So crossing fingers that all gets done. So that's it, planting seeds. So if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to post below. Please subscribe to our channel, and whatever's going on in your neck of the woods, at your greenhouses, your gardens, your balconies, your kitchens, your craft rooms, whatever it is that you're doing, I hope that it's going great for you, and I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Hope to see you again soon. Namaste.